I request everyone to please rise. We shall begin the function with the national anthem followed by Tamil Thai Valtu. May I request all of you to please rise.
നീരാറും കടലൊടുത്ത നിലമടந்த കിഴിലൊഴുകും സീരാറും വദനമെന തികൾ ഭരത കണ്ടമിതിൽ തെക്കനമും അതിൽ സിറந்த ദ്രാവിഡനുൾ തിരുനാളും തക്ക സിறு തിരനുതലും തരിതനരും തിലകമുമേ வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரணமை திறமை என்று செயல் மறந்த வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே.
Good morning and a warm welcome to one and all. We are gathered here today to celebrate the 58th Foundation Day of Csir, Structural Engineering Research Center. Csir-Serc, one of the premier laboratories under Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, was established on 10th June 1965. I now request Dr. N. Anandavalli, Director, Csir-Serc and Coordinating Director, CMC, to deliver the welcome address.
It is my honor and privilege to welcome Chief Guest of today's function, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Sri R.N. Ravi. Vanakkam, welcome and good morning, sir. Guest of honor of today's function, respected Professor C.V.R. Murthy, Professor of Civil Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, Dr. N. Gopalakrishnan, former Director, CSIR Central Building Research Institute, Dr. K.J. Sriram, Director, CSIR Central Leather Research Institute, Dr. G.S. Payani, Dr. K. Satish Kumar, Dr. Raja Shankar, Dr. Bharat Kumar, Chief Scientists, respected octogenarians, my dear former and present colleagues of CSIR, SCRC and CSIR Madras Complex, ladies and gentlemen, present media, Vanakkam, Namaskar and good morning to you all. Greetings to you all on our Foundation Day. It is indeed a proud moment for us that we have with us the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu as our chief guest. He is a master in physics and a journalist before joining the Indian Police Service. He has served the nation in various capacities before becoming the governor of our state. On behalf of the staff members, I thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation and gracing this occasion. Every year on this day, a memorial lecture will be delivered by eminent experts honoring our founder director, Professor G.S. Ramaswamy. This year, for the 58th Foundation Day, we are fortunate to have amongst us Professor C.V.R. Murthy, one of the pioneers in earthquake engineering research in Indian context. Thank you, Professor, for accepting our invitation. Civil engineering is way of life. It is all about planning, teamwork, experience, and preparing for the unexpected. Structural engineering deals with the application of scientific knowledge to develop and improve infrastructures such as buildings, bridges, dams, roads, railways, and common utilities. Therefore, the role of structural engineer exists in every walk of life. Infrastructure is the backbone of any nation's economy. It is important to provide structures and utilities to be safe, while solutions need to be environmental friendly, efficient, as well as economical. Structural engineering plays a key role by joining hands with other disciplines in providing solutions with a multidisciplinary approach for various loading conditions, such as static, dynamic, transient, environmental, and fatigue, as per the functional requirements of the industry. Towards these goals, Csir-Serc, India's only premier research center in the area of structural engineering, has been thriving to ensure safety, durability, and sustainability of the nation's infrastructure by conducting research with innovation in structural engineering. When I look into the history of this great organization, Structural Engineering Research Center, it was built upon the far-sighted vision of Professor G.S. Ramaswamy and was established on 10th of June 1965 as a national laboratory under the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. On this day, we pay our respects to our founder director, Professor G.S. Ramaswamy, and next year marks his birth centenary. Csir has built up excellent facilities and expertise under 4 major thrust areas, namely advanced materials for sustainable construction, disaster mitigation, special and multifunctional structures, and structural health monitoring and life extension. The center has grown in leaps and bounds over the past 5.5 decades under the visionary leadership of Professor G.S. Ramaswamy, Dr. M. Ramaya, Sri N.V. Raman, Dr. T.V. S.R. Apparao, Dr. N. Lakshmanan, Dr. Nagesha Iyer, and Professor Santosh Kapuria. All through Csir had and has a dependable, dedicated, and knowledgeable team. On this day, we show our dignity and respect to all our former colleagues who have built this organization with a strong and sustainable foundation. Csir is involved in a number of laboratory and site investigations on various structures ranging from cooling towers to railway bridges. I am proud of my team and appreciate the efforts of the various teams for conducting all these research works. Csir is continuously serving the Indian Railways for ensuring the safety of railway bridges by developing innovative techniques for measurement of responses through sensors with world-class equipment. Vast number of bridge monitoring, assessment, and retrofitting projects have been executed with several zones of Indian Railways from north to south and east to west. Recently, 2 major memorandum of understanding have been executed, one with RDSO on longitudinal mitigation of longitudinal forces, which is for the increasing load scenarios, this will be helping us. And the other MOU with East Central Railway on new composite bridges, steel concrete composite bridges, and ACRC will be playing a key role in standardizing the structural performance of these types of bridges. Another important project which ACRC was involved on the Polavaram Dam project through acoustic emission and advanced non-destructive techniques. And this project is very important as Polavaram Dam is prestigious national multi-purpose project and the largest irrigation project built over River Godavari in Andhra Pradesh. And the spillway structure is mentioned to be the world's largest of such kind. And NTPC is constructing 520 megawatt hydropower plant at Tapovan, and it is located in the downstream of Alaknanda River. And on February 7th, 2021, there was an unprecedented massive glacial debris flow, and the structure some of the structures got damaged, and SCRC carried out scientific investigation and provided suitable remedial measures. And also, towards construction of 700 megawatt Takrapower atomic power project, which was started in 2010, we were requested to assess the condition, and our team has went and did the field investigation and given remedial measures using the latest advancement in the field. Also, towards nation building, CSIR SCRC successfully conducted Jigyasa School Students Competition, Scientific and Technovation for school students from 6th to 12th. Standard under 3 categories, like one is towards Government of Tamil Nadu schools, Government of Puducherry schools and Kendriya Vidyalaya schools. And number of school students participated. And also we have adopted 15 schools under our Atal Tinkering Lab initiative through popular lectures by scientists and student science connect programs. And also CSIR Jigyasa Atal workshop has been conducted, wherein 500 students from Tenkasi and Tirunelveli districts of Tamil Nadu were benefited. Also, our scientists have received a number of recognition in national and international forums. Join with me to congratulate Dr. Kanchana Devi and Dr. Prabhat Ranjan Prem for receiving the Institution of Engineers Award, and Dr. B.S. Sindhu for being selected as one of the 6 finalists globally and one among the 2 from Asia and Oceania region for the NanoSum PhD Award. Dr. Bharti Priya and Dr. Kirtana for getting the DST IGSTC postdoctoral fellowship, industrial fellowship. I'm happy to state that they were the 2 people from CSIR setup who have got this prestigious fellowship. And Dr. B.H. Bharat Kumar for receiving outstanding concrete engineer from ICH Chennai Center, and Shri A.K. Farwez Ahmad for being awarded outstanding alumni award from Crescent Engineering College. Dr. Bhaskar has received the Vishwakarma Award from Construction Industry Development Council, and Dr. Madheshwari Ministry for guiding the Indian Corporate Journal. We had 4 of our DST-SCRD projects granted. I congratulate Dr. Mohit Verma, Dr. Bharti Priya, Dr. Ramisati Srinivasa, Dr. Saptarishi Shasmal, and Dr. Anup for bagging these grants. I'm glad that CSIR SCRC could get one of its CSIR first project proposed by Dr. Mohit Verma approved. On this occasion of this Foundation Day, we honor our octogenarians, Srimati K.R. Annapurani, Dr. B. Bhaskaran, Dr. A.G. Kadarkar, Shri P. Krishnan, Srimati D. Dalita, Dr. P.R. Natarajan, Shri S. Karamal, and Shri C.C. Ravindran from CSIR SCRC, and Shri K. Parameshwaran CMC, Shri R. Srinivasan CSIR NML Chennai Unit, Shri A.N. Radhakrishnan, CSIR CSIO Chennai Unit. We acknowledge the services rendered by them. I congratulate all the staff members on this occasion and appreciate their efforts towards the betterment of the institution. I once again welcome the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu and all the audience and conclude with a Thirukural, Epporul Ettanmayadayinum Appurul Meipporul Kanbadarivu, which means analyzing the information, understanding the meaning, and accepting the fact will help one to gain profound knowledge. Hence, true knowledge is the ability to understand the truth behind people, things, and events. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. May I now request our beloved director to felicitate our chief guest of today's event, the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, with a shawl and ornament. I now request our director to felicitate our guest of honor of today's event, Professor C.V.R. Murthy, Professor of Civil Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. Thank you, ma'am. May I now request Dr. G.S. Parni, Chief Scientist, CSIR SCRC, to introduce the guest of honor.
respected dignitaries on the dais and after dais, my dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, great morning to all of you. It is my pleasure and privilege to introduce Professor Csir-Serc to this august audience. He is from our neighboring institute, IIT Madras, and is familiar to all of us. He has also been playing a very crucial role as a research council expert member of Csir-Serc for over 5 years in shaping up a research project. So, though he is known to all of us, as the occasion demands, I will make it very brief. Professor Csir-Serc obtained his Bachelor of Technology in Civil Engineering in 1984 and Master of Technology in Structural Engineering in 1986, both from IIT Madras. He received Doctor of Philosophy in 1982 from California Institute of Technology, USA, for the study on nonlinear seismic response of steel planar moment resisting frames. His areas of research interests include nonlinear behavior of structures, displacement-based earthquake-resistant design of buildings and bridges, and seismic design codes. Professor Murthy has been serving as professor in the Department of Civil Engineering at IIT Madras since 2010. He is serving as Institute Chair Professor since 2017 at IIT Madras. Earlier, he was visiting professor at IIT Hyderabad during June 2009 to May 2010, and as professor on deputation in Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Madras during June 2008 to May 2009. Both of these to establish IIT Hyderabad as co-chair of the IIT Hyderabad Task Force. Currently, he is shouldering critical responsibilities at national level as Chairman, Earthquake Engineering Sectional Committee of the Bureau of Indian Standards, that is CED 39, and member of Second National Advisory Committee of the National Disaster Management Authority, Government of India, member of National Committee of Dam Safety under the Ministry of Jal Shakti, a member Advisory Committee Nuclear Radiation Safety of the Atomic Regulatory Board, Chairman Project Management Committee of Preparation of DPR for Kalpasar Project, Ministry of Earth Sciences. Earlier he was member of the state, Tamil Nadu State Disaster Management Authority during 2013 to 2016. He was honorary advisor of earthquake mitigation of the Delhi State Disaster Management Authority during 2005 to 2007. He was editor-in-chief of the World Housing Encyclopedia of the Earthquake Engineering Research Institute, Oakland, USA during 2005 to 2008. Professor Murthy was conferred the 2008 Distinguished Teacher Award of the IIT Kanpur and 2009 Best Teacher Award by IIT Hyderabad. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity, and I invite Professor Murthy to deliver the Professor Csir-Serc Memorial Lecture.
Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Shri Ravi, distinguished invitees, respected Director of SCRC, Dr. N. Anandavali, dear scientists and technical staff members of SCRC, ladies and gentlemen. Warm greetings on the Foundation Day of SCRC Madras. Remembering the pioneering work of Dr. G.S. Ramaswamy, I am motivated to speak today on structural engineering and the need for progressing India through structural engineering. Structural engineering needs 5 P's to progress India. First, the primary and not perfection. Second, performance and not publicity. Third, protection and not prevention. Fourth, policies and not practices. And fifth, persons and not people. I'll take the first P, primary and not perfection. Structural organizations seeking to take primary steps, we call that 100 is the enemy of 80 and the best is the enemy of good. There are many fine details that form an unending list, but it is important in structural engineering projects to get the basics right. So to begin with, aesthetics should be given utmost respect when composing structures. The primary physical structure is likely to perform reasonably well even when hazards are marginally exceeded. Clearly, only a simple structural configuration is the correct technology option. The second P, performance and not publicity. Structuring organizations seeking performance know that structural performance will be enhanced when there is good balance between demand and capacity of a structure. Hazards can at best be estimated and not calculated precisely. Structures can only be made to resist the effects of these estimated hazards, thereby offering economy in the technology options. The thoughts of completely eliminating the effects of the prevalent hazards are unreal and unviable options financially. The approach should be to make structures affordable instead of quibbling over the fifth decimal in the calculations. The third P is protection and not prevention. Structural engineering organizations seeking protection are more likely to succeed. Structural engineering is synonymous with safety because it builds safety in the forms envisaged by architects without jeopardizing functionality. It identifies the architectural forms and places them in the spectrum of structures, namely unsafe structures, not unsafe structures, not safe structures, and safe structures. Their attention is on safety of the structure, which is envisaged through 5 virtues of the structure, namely configuration, stiffness, strength, ductility and deformability, and collapse mechanism and energy absorption. These virtues cannot be regulated, but can only be internalized over time with experience. The fourth P is on policies and not practices. Structuring organizations with sound policies consistent with national development agenda alone will succeed in their goals. Their roadmaps should assure sustainability of the built environment in the long run. Just as when drawing a straight line without a straight edge, the left eye should be at the tip of the pencil and the right eye on the destination, structuring organizations should stay focused on the task at hand and steadfast on the goals of the nation, but constantly correcting their paths, energizing their efforts with frequent fresh thoughts and regular flesh blood. All nerves should be held by each stakeholder of structuring organizations till time tests the veracity of the structuring solutions, technology solutions proposed by him or her. There is no scope for becoming rich and famous in structural engineering at the cost of lives of others. In the fifth P, persons and not people. Structuring organizations should be replete with competent persons with such technical competence in specific subject areas that will take the nation forward. Such persons alone can lead the subject and hence the nation. Mere large quantities of people are inefficient, as demonstrated by the large stock of unemployable existing civil engineering structural degree holders in India. It is time to increase the number of subject specialists who are eusocial, meaning who are available to dedicate themselves to public good instead of their personal gains. Charity begins at home. Academic institutes need to introspect with modesty and humility and make urgent amends in their vision and conduct to create the needed number of competent human resources for developing the nation. Structural engineers need positive attitude which provides clarity that structures they build should assure safety, skill of using advanced tools in planning, analysis, design, construction, and maintenance, knowledge, that is the understanding of the behavior of structures. These watchwords are expected eventually to provide intuition of the structural behavior, basically the wisdom of structural engineering. Such unconscious competence alone can provide the most fulfilling experience in this life and bring meaning to this life. As Jagadguru Sri Adi Shankaracharya said, Paropakaram idham shariram. Only persons with positive attitude, depth, skills, and depths of knowledge can be competent. Ladies and gentlemen, let us be competent. Structural engineering organizations should engage with the needs of the nation because only then they stay on the track for at least a minimum period until they demonstrate the positive impact of their solutions for the national technological challenges. Continuity of engagement of the organizations is necessary till a logical point, even after the completion of project, to build a culture of responsibility and accountability. in each individual engaged therein. Only such an approach in the careers makes structural engineers real, which is human and empathetic. In closing, dear fellow human beings, from now on, let us listen and not just hear. Let us watch and not just see. And let us speak and not just talk. Only such dedicated commitment can help us embed in the structural engineering of the built environment the 5 sheets of consciousness described in the Taittiriya Upanishad of Vedanta. From the outermost layer of consciousness, the Annamaya Kosha, the physical sheet relating to shape, size, form, color, etc. in the form of aesthetics and functionality, to the Pranamaya Kosha, the physiological sheet relating to thirst, hunger, etc. in the form of economy, to the Manomaya Kosha, the psychological sheet relating to sad, agitated, etc., etc. in the form of safety, to Vijnanamaya Kosha, the doership sheet relating to outcome, identity, etc. in the form of sustainability, and finally in the innermost layer, the Anandamaya Kosha, the enjoyership sheet relating to experience, happiness, bliss, etc. in the form of the person. From now on, let us ensure that through every activity of ours each day, that the nation wins, because only when the nation wins, we win. Ladies and gentlemen, with respectful remembrance of Dr. G.S. Ramaswamy and his milestone contributions, I thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for highlighting some of the important aspects which each and every structural engineer should always remember. We are indeed honored to have listened to you today. I now request Dr. G.S. Parni, Chief Scientist, CSIR SCRC, to introduce the Chief Guest.
Respected dignitaries in the dais, my dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, great morning to all of you again. I feel honored to introduce through R.N. Ravi, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, to this august audience, who is a renowned personality. So I will focus only on the challenging and important roles played by him in the nation building exercise. Through Ravindra Narayan Ravi, born at Patna in Bihar, did his masters in physics in 1974. After a brief stint in journalism, he joined Indian Police Service in 1976 and was allotted to the Kerala cadre. He served in Kerala in various capacities, including districts for over a decade, and then in different parts of the country in various capacities. While serving in Central Bureau of Investigation, he led several anti-corruption crusades against organized criminal gangs and including mining mafias in the country. While in the Intelligence Bureau, the premier intelligence agency of the country, he served largely in theatres of insurgencies and violence, including Jammu and Kashmir, Northeast and Maoist infected regions. He also specialized in the dynamics of human migration in South Asia and worked extensively on the political sociology and border population. He has played a crucial roles in conflicting resolutions in areas affected with ethnic insurgencies and brought several armed rebel groups into peace. He was the architect of India's international cooperation in counter-terrorism and intelligence sharing. After retirement from government service in 2012, he wrote regular columns in national dailies. He was appointed as the chairman of Joint Intelligence Committee in Prime Minister's office, where as the head of the intelligence community, he coordinated and guided the agencies to meet the national security needs of the country. He was appointed as the center's interlocutor for Naga Peace talks in August 2014. Within a short time, he could achieve a paradigm shift in the peace process by bringing the issue from abroad to the land and to its people, and made it truly inclusive by making the genuine stakeholders integral to it. Soon, all the rebel armed groups signed agreements for a settlement on the 7 decades old separatist insurgency within the Indian Union and within the ambit of the constitutions of India, which could assure peace in Nagaland and the rest of the Northeast India. He was appointed as the Deputy National Security Advisor in October 2018. He served as the Governor of Nagaland from 1st August 2019 to 16 September 2021. He has been appointed as a Governor of Tamil Nadu and assumed office as 26th Governor of Tamil Nadu on 18th September 2021. Thank you very much for this unique and very precious opportunity. I now invite Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Thiru R.N. Ravi, to deliver the CSR Foundation Day special lecture.
Dr. N. Anandwali, Director, Professor C.V.R. Murthy, Dr. K. Satish Kumar, Dr. G.S. Palani, faculties, scientists, technical staff, students, distinguished invitees, gracious ladies and gentlemen, Vanakkam, Namaskaram to all. I am indeed delighted that this institute commemorates the founder and invites distinguished speakers like Professor Murthy to deliver a talk. You know, Professor G.S. Ramaswamy, who created this institution with certain vision, and successive directors have carried it forward with their immense contribution, building a tradition of commemorating our founder and our predecessors on whose shoulders we stand today is truly Bharatiya Sanskriti. It's our tradition, it's our culture. The fact that this institute does it is a matter of pride and delight. This great institution of structural engineering, it has earned a name, a very good name for itself. It has been helping the government in ensuring that infrastructures built by the government, they are durable, sustainable. Infrastructure is a capital intensive project, as you all know. If infrastructure is built and if it is not durable, if it is not sustainable, a large sum of national resource sinks. That way, this body has been doing a great service to the country. And I'm sure in years ahead, it will continue doing better service. As far as the general vision and direction to go about, Professor Murthy has given a very, very, very pithy talk, and I hope many of you will be able to retain what he said. Nations first. Whatever we do, it is integrated with our national development plans. You know, science, especially natural science, it doesn't know geographic boundaries, it doesn't know any other ideas and ideologies. And people of science, they get so much engrossed in the discipline that often tend to be oblivious of the situation around. You are doing a lot of great researches, very good researches. Quite often questions are posed to you and you find solutions. Here, I would like to urge you to be conscious of the context of your existence, context of your being and what you are doing. You know, we are all here. We are all. You are you all. We are all here for the sake of the nation. And what we do it with a larger aim. Whatever we do in our respective domain, if we keep the consciousness of nation in our mind, then it acquires a different meaning. It gives a separate sense of fulfillment. And when I say nation, I would like to urge on you to be conscious of the fact that the way we look at the nation and the way we look at the problems of the nations, both the nation and the problems of the nations, there has been a fundamental shift since 2014. Earlier, nation used to be seen in terms of geography, regions. Our development format was 5-year plan. Every 5-year plan used to have allocation of resources to deal with the problems. And our approach to look at the problems of the nation also was resolving it piecemeal. Any problem, including infrastructure. This many roads will be built. This many bridges will be built. This many schools will be set up. This many medical colleges or hospitals will be created, depending on our resources. So we looked at the nation in terms of diverse geography and the problems, we approached the problems not in totality but addressing the problems in parts, because after all, in 5 years you have limited resources, you can allocate only limited amount of money, and so you can also only have a limited success. The shift is that we no longer look at the country as a diverse geography. We look at one. This Bharat is one. Every part of it and every citizen of it have equal access and must have equal access to the resources. Now, and that is why one of the first things that was done was to do away with planning commission. No, because if you start addressing a problem in parts, the problem multiplies, problem gets never ending. You build certain schools, that's not the end of it. Next year, next financial 5-year plan, you will have limited resources, you will again allocate some, and as a result, we continued having large number of illiterate, large number of hungry, sick people in our country, even after 7 decades. Because we kept addressing the problems in parts. And because it was also looked in terms of diverse geographies, there was regional imbalances. Some areas progress, some areas were far left, far behind. It was almost like a Darwinian model of development. So this fundamental shift of looking at the country as one and addressing the problems in totality, not in parts. This one needs to appreciate the fundamental or the paradigm shift in addressing our problems. And we all know that we have entered Amrit Kal of our country's independence. Amrit Kal is the next 25 years. By the time 2047, the country celebrates 100 years of independence, where we will be, where we should be. Our aim is clear, that by 2047, the country, the Bharat has to be the world leader. And this, we cannot, with this objective, this goal of being the world leader will be achieved only with the collaboration and cooperation of every citizen of the country, every institution of the country, every being of the country. That is why when we say, Ore Bharatam, Unnat Bharatam, one Bharat, Shreshth Bharat, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Elloru Rinam, Elloru Kaglu, all together. Now, in this, you might have noticed that there is this approach of looking at country as one and addressing the problem in totality. They have started paying us dividend. Look at when we, about a few years back, 7-8 years back, this country had the dubious distinction of having 60% of our people going for open defecation. And when we started talking about building toilets, many people laughed at it. What is this? And today, we are free. Open defecation free country. The problem is not building a toilet was not looked at into segment, into parts, one approach, and the problem is resolved. This country had, again, a very shameful situation of gender imparity. We had less number of female than male. In some states, it was gross. The difference was gross. Many schemes happened about women empowerment, we talked about it, resources were allocated. But the disparities did not reduce. Now, in 2021, census has yet to be revealed, yet to come out in public. But sample surveys done across the country reveals that now the gender imparity is gone. And some samples indicate that perhaps we have more number of female than male in the country. Now this happened with a movement like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Building toilets in schools. Ensuring that women, the mothers, get access to cooking gas. So that the children get time to study. Comprehensive, a lot of measures to empower the women, the Nari Shakti. In the last bastion, where women were banned for entry was the defense services, they got it. It is opened. Now our girls are flying bomber aircrafts. Now the problem, now a country cannot grow, cannot develop if half its population remains backward, remains unempowered, is not able to contribute to the growth of the country. And so the fundamental issue of not only gender imparity, but gender empowerment. And it happened with basics, fundamentals. Now, I would urge you to think or ponder over it. These things appear very simple, but these are very, very deep. And look at the transformation that it has brought in last about 6-7 years. Another is, this country, a nation is built by the people, not by the government. Government creates conducive atmosphere. Ability of government or a good government is, as Prime Minister often says, minimum government, maximum governance. Beauty of the government lies in being the least negative force in growth of the potential of individual citizens. Our people have enormous capacity, enormous talent we have in our country. But our policies, rules, regulations have been blocking their growth. Now look at what happened. In 2014, we had hardly about 400 startups. Today, we have already crossed 70,000. These 70,000 startups have been created by young men and women of this country, not by the government. Look at the strength, look at the potential. And this last month, May 5th, 100th of this startup became unicorn. And you know what it is, unicorn is. Now, creating an environment, an ecosystem for our people, our young people to grow, to take risk, to take challenge, is what is building this nation. And in this context, when I think of this center of structural engineering, I would like to impress upon the director and the faculty members, all those who are associated with it, to think of it in what all innovative way you can help building this nation and achieving the target in next 25 years country to be the world leader. You have been helping the government in its infrastructure by giving them required technical assistance for durable and sustainable infrastructure. Now, can we? And I've also seen your report that you have created some disaster, cyclone relief, resistant relief centers in coastal states. Is an excellent initiative. Can we think of something more? Now, you have to think of this country. Now, you are doing great. You can be very happy about what you are doing. You will be getting laurels. But what you need to do, and what I would urge you to think of it, you need to challenge yourself. You have to challenge yourself and set new targets, new goals. Because otherwise, perhaps there may not be many to challenge you, many from outside to challenge you. And the optimum comes out only when the best challenge itself. Because there is no limit to growth. There is no limit up to which you can grow. Now, in our country, we have regions which are highly seismic zones, earthquake prone, like Northeast. very often tremor happens. People lose their houses. Houses collapse, cracks. Now a person, imagine a person or a family that loses his or her house has to build the house again. It's a huge cost. Huge cost. It brings down a reasonably middle class person to a poor category. Can we do something to do the research to come up with some technology, how to build individual houses? I'm not sure whether you are doing it, you might be doing it. If you are doing it well and good, you can expand it. Because I have been served in the Northeast and I have seen how people have suffered. So support to government infrastructure is one thing, which is good, which has to be done, which you are doing. Doing something for the people at large, for the Indians at large. We have in Himalayan region, Uttarakhand and all, very often we have cloudburst, flash flood, houses destroyed. They are not able to withstand various geological regions. Can something be done to make them more durable? And as Professor Murthy says, best is the enemy of good. You don't have to go for perfection. But if you can come up with something which can give them more durable, which can resist to some extent, not every house doesn't have to get flushed out in the first flush. That will be a big contribution. There are different parts of our country has different problems. I would urge you to think of moving beyond the government. While you are serving the government, helping the government, and government initiated project. Many a times government doesn't, after all, government has its own, who is government? As such, government is known for its insensitivity. Something earthquake happens, houses collapse, immediately hue and cry happens, demand goes from the state to center, some assessment team will come, okay, 5,000 crores damage has been lost, so find the 5,000 crore, money doesn't grow on trees, but somehow money has to come, again it will cut into a process, a bureaucratic process. The fact is the person who has lost his house, his whole universe is changed. We need to move beyond the government. We need to bring people in our consideration zone. And I don't think anyone is better suited than you are. With your competence, the kind of expertise that you have, the kind of excellence that you have acquired over the years, that will be very, very helpful. So, include in your vision. Bring whatever we are doing. When we say nations at the center of everything. Now, nation at the center of everything, we have to add to it with a target that in next 25 years, the nation has to be the world leader. In that case, how to see that nation's infrastructure, which includes individuals' infrastructure, also is made more durable, more sustainable. You know, there's a parallel. People say that every year, a couple of millions of our people, they come down the poverty line because of health reasons. The most, the poor people, those who are the lower middle income, especially the lower middle income people. When a disease strikes, the treatment money goes, and the lower income person, the family, comes down to poverty, sometimes below poverty. And so, the government approached this problem in a holistic way to make the health easily accessible and affordable. For easy access, yes, rebuilding and reinforcing the private health centers, more and more medical colleges, more and more at the block level, creating the sophisticated centers for diagnostic and all, sophisticated diagnostics, affordable by through Ayushman Bharat. Today, about 50 crore people, nearly half the country, almost 40% of the country's population, more than 45%, is covered under Ayushman Bharat. They don't have to worry about it because the cover is given to them 5 lakhs rupees a year. And Janaushadhi Kendra, generic drugs, which is 1/10 of the branded one. So making it affordable, so that a person keeps growing up. If disease strikes, if sickness strikes, the family doesn't go down. It sustains. Holistic. And then of course, general health and wellness centers. 150,000 health and wellness centers have been created in the country. A lot of emphasis on yoga, Fit India. These are essentially the part of health, part of well-being. A multi-pronged approach. Similarly, when it comes to our people, their houses, the safety, durability of their houses, that is very, very important. But there, the magic word is not with the government. The magic word is with you. You have to come up with the technology. You have to come up with how to go about it. Friends, this institution has traveled 58 years. You have many years, many decades, and I would say centuries to go. We are all part of the moment, part of the present. But here we are at the present with a vision for the future. And right now I would urge all of you to keep that vision of Amrit Kal, 25 years, 2047, where you would like the country to be, and what each one of us can do to take it there. There lies the whole essence of our being here. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for highlighting some of the important problems faced by people in our country and also motivating us to work towards solving it. May I now request Dr. K. Satish Kumar, Chief Scientist, Csir SCRC, to deliver the vote of thanks.
A warm and cherished morning to our most valued Chief Guest, His Excellency Sri R.N. Ravi, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, respected Guest of Honor, Professor C.V. Murthy, IIT Madras, respected Director, CSR, SCRC and Coordinating Director, CSR, CMC, Dr. Ananthavali, respected Director, CSR, CLRI, Dr. K.J. Sriram, respected former Director, CSR, CBRI, Dr. N. Gopalakrishnan, dignitaries on and off the dais, and my dear colleagues, staff of CSR, SCRC and CMC. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked hard to make this 58th CSR SCRC Foundation Day function a grand success. On behalf of Director and my own colleague staff of CSR, SCRC and CMC, I give a really heartfelt vote of thanks to our Chief Guest, His Excellency Sri R.N. Ravi, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, who has spent his most valuable time in gracing the occasion and to deliver the Foundation Day address. Today, we all feel proud and honored by your presence, sir. Thank you very much, sir. We will set our goals to achieve everything. Today, we all feel Today, we are fortunate for having the opportunity of listening the Professor G.S. Ramaswamy Memorial Lecture from Professor C.R. Murthy, one of the stalwarts in earthquake disaster mitigation and management, and his lecture has enlightened our young minds and shown us a new path. Thank you very much, sir. I sincerely thank our Venerable Director, Dr. N. Anandavalli, for her valuable guidance and support in organizing today's function in a grand manner. With a deep sense of appreciation, I thank Dr. B.H. Bharat Kumar, Advisor Management, for the valuable support in planning and coordinating the entire event. I personally thank Dr. K.J. Sriram, Director CSIR CLRI, and Dr. N. Gopalakrishnan, former Director CSIR CBRI, for accepting our invitation and gracing today's function. Thank you, sirs. This type of function cannot happen overnight, and it requires planning and bird's eye view for detailing. We have been fortunate to be supported by a team of very active and dedicated staff from ICT, BKMD, TCC, KRD, and Director Secretariat, who are well versed in their jobs. I lack words for their participation and their willingness to complete the task assigned in time. My sincere thanks and deep appreciation go to the people who worked tirelessly behind the scene, beyond their comfort zones, for the successful conduct of this event, especially our staff from administration, bills, accounts, purchase, civil and electrical engineering divisions, horticulture, canteen, and guest house. My sincere thanks goes to the press and media for the live coverage of today's function. I personally thank Ms. Ramya for comparing, Gayatri for rendering the Tamil Thai Valtu, and Srimati Vijayalakshmi for even capturing of today's function. If I have missed out someone who have contributed directly or indirectly for the successful conduct of this function, it is not intentional, for which I may be excused. Once again, thank you everyone. Jai Hind.
Dear colleagues, this brings us to the end of today's function. I thank each and every one of you for joining us today and making this event a grand success. Let us all raise for the national anthem. I request everyone to remain standing till the Honorable Governor leaves auditorium. Please remain in the auditorium until the Honorable Governor leaves the room.
இல்லை ஓப்பன் அது இல்லை